Episode 265 of the TV Dudes, recorded December 11th, 2019. Nostalgia.
Nostalgia?
Nostalgia.
What are you thinking back on?
Well, just take these pills.
All of them at once?
All of them at once.
All right.
Oh, wait, that's a terrible idea. I'm going to have to hook you up to an elephant.
So if you haven't been catching up on Watchmen, that joke might not have made sense, but I don't care because you should have been watching Watchmen, people.
Yeah, because Watchmen's amazing and probably the best
Who's
show on
watching
TV.
The Watchmen? Everybody.
Everybody's watching The Watchmen.
Either to figure out why you were going to hate it,
Yep.
which joke's on you, you probably fell in love with it,
Yep.
or because you were like the rest of us and just super excited about it.
But when Les took all his nostalgia pills, where he drifted into was the 80s DC Comics.
It did. Little Marv Wolfman.
Little Marv Wolfman, little...
George Perez.
Yeah. So Crisis on Infinite Earths is here. It is a 5-part crossover between the CW shows. 3 parts before Christmas, 2 parts after Christmas because, I don't know, they don't trust us. I'm not sure why.
We'll get into that.
But we're going to talk about the first 3 parts of that, which just showed up on the CW app. Or, if you have cable, it showed on the CW show. CW network.
I guess that's still there.
And then we're going to jump. This is not exactly nostalgia. It's a little bit off brand, but we want to talk about Silicon Valley, which had just a pretty great finale.
Yeah. And it's about time for a rewatch of Silicon Valley. So
Sure.
So let's call it nostalgia.
Yeah, have nostalgia for Silicon Valley, the show from 6 years ago. All right, so let's start off with Watchmen. We've talked about Watchmen several times. Our TV Dude founder, Grant, is off doing a separate, I don't know if you listened to it.
It's great.
It's like 2 hours a week of talking about the Watchmen with his buddy Clay.
Yeah, you should hear them on the Carly Rae interview. I think they bring that up of like her episode had just aired, the Looking Glass one.
Yeah,
and she principally wrote, and they were like, "Yeah, we spent 2 hours dissecting that last night." She's like, "No shit."
Yeah. The show takes an hour, and they take twice as long to talk about it. It's great.
They catch all sorts of crazy stuff,
Yep.
man. Cal's last name meaning jail in Swahili.
Yeah.
The title of the penultimate episode.
A guy walks into a bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they even shift the perspective the way they do the credits late into the scene. The perspective shifts and he walks through the word and it cuts the kerning short on a bar, so it really does look like her last name.
But
there's lots of little nerdy stuff.
We are not the people who pods the Watchmen. We are the TV Dudes. I am Randy.
I'm Les.
And let's talk about Watchmen.
We got to jump right into it. I am loving this show. Now, you said at episode 1 that this was prestige television and it was as good place and it was your best thing of the year. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I agree with you, but that
I did.
seems
You thought
really
it was
early.
a bold statement. It was a bold statement.
It was a bold statement and also absolutely correct.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I could quite say
Babe
I love
Ruth
it more
calling the
than
shot.
good place. Like I don't know, but
this is fantastically sure-handed television, though.
And it's so ambitious. It hits its marks. It's beautiful. It's well cast. It's got amazing music.
Oh man, Reznor and co. really kill it on the score.
And also, as we get deeper into it, I'm realizing that Lindelof and Jensen and company, and who's their Carly Ray,
Tom Spezialy.
Yeah, everybody who they have managed to create something that is as ambitious and as true to the format of Watchmen. Like the Dr. Manhattan episode we just got makes so many references to the story structure that they used for the fourth issue of Watchmen. And there's all kinds of they definitely set out to do here is that they didn't want to talk about they didn't want to call it a sequel when they were talking about what it was. Mm-hmm. They weren't saying it's a sequel to Watchmen, and they weren't saying it's an adaptation because it's not really either of those things. It is it's an iteration of it. It's a TV iteration of it. It's a new story, but it echoes the original. It does
come after. It does deal with the aftermath of the original. I mean, we very much are picking up threads of what happens after the comic ends.
Oh, sure.
Not the movie. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like they made a second graphic novel or they made another movie. It feels like they are open sandbox, just exploring in the world.
Well, and also it's a TV show. This is not this should have been a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
It is using the fundamentals of TV in the same way that Watchmen used the fundamentals of comics.
Yeah. And I know there are people, I mean, Alan Moore's beard's going to burst into flame when I say this, but it is a worthy story successor to the plot of the first one, in my opinion.
I think if it were not done by DC, that Alan Moore would actually say that. I think it's interesting because I think this is what Alan Moore would want people to do with Watchmen. It is not just riffing on his story. It is telling an original story.
And I enjoyed DC's before Watchmen comics, but they were using it to help blur into the bigger DC universe, and their reboots and rebirths and all that have been not great. So there was a lot of flaws to it, but I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
But I understood why there was a lot of criticism of it too. It did have some issues, pun intended. This is exquisite.
Yeah, it really is.
I can't believe how much I like the new characters. I can't believe how well it works. It doesn't leave me like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where I'm wondering why I'm watching these fucks when I really care about a different set of people you're just alluding to.
I can't believe where they've gone. Like
it's so distinctly about race.
The previous episode about Angela taking the nostalgia and living her
all of the Hooded Justice stuff.
Like that whole story is such an amazing story. And
her dad being against masks when he tells her in Vietnam and understanding exactly why.
Yeah.
You know the exact inciting incident from his childhood that did that.
Yeah. Like that all works. And then we get to this episode with Dr. Manhattan, and it is perfect.
The causality issue that she creates is amazing.
Yeah. She even knowing that there's this weird time gap thing, like she's been living with that for a while at that point, she still makes the mistake. Well,
you'd be used to him not letting you make that mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that he can only fuck it up because of what they've done.
Yeah.
Which is new, which is an anomaly.
Yeah.
That he has any gap in his memory.
Yeah.
But I could see where you would be used to, because she asked him, can you pass a message?
Yeah.
And he answers in the can I? Yes.
Yeah.
Should you? No.
Yes. Yeah. Also, the guy playing Cal, whose name I can't remember, and I feel bad because Clay did the same thing on Who Pods the Watchmen, and I was like, that's too bad. Who would do that? I would do that too because I just forgot his name too. And Grant had to look it up, just like Les is looking it up right now. But that actor, he's been playing a solid B role. He's her supporting cast, but this episode,
Abdul Mateen II.
That's him. This episode, we get to see that, this dude has some chops, and they hired him for a reason, and he's been waiting for this episode, and he just steps in and nails it.
Oh, he's so good as John.
Yeah.
And his and Adrian's, like, John, it's been a few years. This kind of appropriation is not
It's such a good little meta nod. I loved it. Yeah. Also, we get answers to some big questions about where is Veidt and why is Veidt there and that kind of thing and what all's going on with that. And we still have some big mysteries like, well, where's Veidt now? And why did Angela have to see him on the pool? Why is that important? And
well, Veidt now is on Europa. And
maybe,
he keeps throwing himself out of the jar.
Or did he fall in a backyard a few episodes ago?
Yep.
And when he wrote Save Me D, was it Save Me Dr. Manhattan? Did he write that in corpses? Who knows?
That Manhattan is growing the corpses of the two people that took his family in.
Yeah.
Is so beautiful and weird.
Yeah.
Realizing who Phillips was and all that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to get back. There's still so much story. I want to get back to Looking Glass and the Cavalry.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about the Looking Glass episode, which also shows us post-Squid New York in a way we've never seen it.
Yeah, which is just great. And him finding out the big truth and you thinking, well, I mean, he's either going to join. I mean, they want him to join up.
Yeah.
But not really knowing. And then the cavalry comes to his house, and I think the next thing we see is his house is just full of bodies.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I don't think he broke as cleanly. It's not like he can ignore what they told him, but he's off on his own thing now, and I can't wait to see what he's doing.
I can't wait either.
Finding out that he covers his head in foil because, like, why he picked that mask was beautiful.
I cannot wait to see this all culminate because that's one of the things everybody's been worried about. Everyone still remembers Lost not quite sticking its ending. Because not enough people watched The Leftovers, where they absolutely nailed their ending.
That's what I heard. I haven't finished out Leftovers.
And I think that
Which was
everybody's
also
been,
Carly Rae.
everybody's been really nervous about this because it's a big, ambitious thing. And if they've dropped the ending, the whole thing can be a mess. And I have absolute faith at this point that the ending is going to be spectacular.
I think it's going to be amazing. I've been so – there's been nothing done so far that would break my trust that they don't know what they're doing in this chess game.
Yeah, this is TV on the level. This is live watch TV on the level of something like when Game of Thrones was hitting its marks. Like, this is really great TV.
Yeah, I know people argued about whether Westworld was dicking them around or not, but this is how I felt. This is how I felt about Westworld. When
Westworld was hitting me, Westworld had weeks where I was like I don't know about this.
Yeah, no, this is moved at a pace better, I think, than Westworld. Westworld had some slow episodes where I went, I know I got a piece of info I needed, but this was not that exciting.
Yeah.
Every week of Watchmen has been a holy fuck moment.
Yeah, every episode of this, I want to have a cigarette at the end. It's so fucking good. And and that they went and did.
It's got some radish on Mad Men, so that makes sense.
That they went and did Dr. Manhattan and did it so well is really impressive to me. That they've touched on literally everyone except the comedian, and even he's there in spirit because of Laurie Blake.
Yes. Getting Gene Smart for Laurie Blake.
And Gene Smart's amazing in this.
Yeah.
The casting is so good. I mean, Regina King. Regina King is without
walking away with it every episode.
Yeah. Without Regina King, this show might have worked.
No, but she is the centerpiece
with Regina King. Yeah, it's like, how could this not work?
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. It is a shame that we will be on holiday break and probably will not be able to talk the final episode.
No, but you can go tune into Who Pots the Watchmen.
Definitely do. I will be.
Yeah. Grant and Clay will more than cover it.
All right, so let's talk about something a little less sublime, a little more ridiculous, and that is the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
All right, so every year the crises, the crossovers are fun.
Yeah.
Earth X, that was super fun.
That was their best ones to start with, and then
this Crisis on Infinite Earths, this crossover is so ambitious. They have done so many cameos, and it's so bug shit nuts.
Yeah.
I find myself just like squealing and clapping my hands like a wind-up monkey sometimes.
There's so many fun things. I've laughed out loud. But it's a different kind of experience than I get from like Watchmen, where I'm like, holy shit, they pulled that off. Where it's more of a, holy shit, they did that?
Yes.
That character? Really? That version of like, the thing about Crisis on Infinite Earths, I don't know where you are on this, Les, as far as the comics go. I don't think Crisis on Infinite Earths is a very good comic.
I like it. People are going to hate me for this. I was more of a DC kid than a Marvel kid, but if you go back and read some of these classic quote-unquote comic book plot lines, the Dark Phoenix comic book plot line is cheesy and clunky and fucking weird, and the whole in Gene's head Baroque fantasy Hellfire Club shit, and like it's so heavy-handed and weird. And similarly, Harbinger and Pariah are so, particularly Pariah in the
Harbinger,
comic.
Pariah, Monitor, Anti-Monitor are all dumb characters.
They're
They're all dumb characters.
That said, my memories of Crisis as a plotline are, and that's why it fits under nostalgia, far, far outweigh the actual plot of this.
Oh yeah, because it feels
and
like
what it was doing. Yeah. What it was doing structurally this was a made-up plot to skin a structural change at DC Comics that's astonishing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is taking it's apocalyptic. It is changing things that have been there for 30 years.
It's maybe the best I've ever seen a company-wide retcon handled.
If only they'd had the structure in place to think about what it was going to look like after the retcons. Because that's what caused all their problems going forward.
Yeah.
And I hope that the CW paid attention to that lesson.
I feel like I was just telling somebody this. It's so ambitious. There are certainly going to be balls dropped and things left undone. Yeah. I'm hoping that they clean some of them up in the ongoing series that remain.
Right.
that said, even if they don't, they have packed it so full of off-the-wall cameos that I don't even know how they got the rights to.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Disney. They own everything. This is Warner Bros. Does everything else.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So the interesting thing about this is that it's so far, 3 episodes? It's Batwoman.
There's been a Batwoman-ish, a Flash-ish one, and an Arrow.
Was it Arrow? I think it was Arrow.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's a Black Lightning that is sort of a half episode.
Okay, so they touched Black Lightning's universe once.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
Like, Hi Jefferson, multiverse exists.
Yeah.
Everyone you know is dead. Like,
Yes.
I was like, man, this tracks. Like,
Yeah.
Because I've said for a little while that I think the best thing going for Black Lightning is that the rest of the CW DC universe has stayed away from them.
Yeah.
And then suddenly like, oh, hey,
Shows
who are
up
y'all?
and ruins everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, touched his universe once and burned it to the ground.
I love also
Fuck all y'all.
that when we do see Jefferson, he gets to give Diggle the head nod.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, fucking white people.
Right?
Yeah.
He said something about, we're going to fight this off, and he nods to Diggle. It's great.
Yeah. But the plot itself is somewhat goofy. There's an antimatter wave. It's wiping out universes. It's a worry about it killing their universe. They have to gather everybody.
They've
up.
got to find, Randy just got to watch me roll my eyes. They have to go find the paragons of
the 7 paragons.
The emotions, because
Yes.
there's going to be like an oak leaf full of love that Doctor Who uses to
Yeah.
save.
Yeah.
This is science fantasy.
It's ridiculous. And I say
not science fiction, it's science fantasy.
I say this as someone who's been reading comics for 40 years. It's ridiculous.
It's just goofy and silly. And you either don't give a fuck and are on board.
Yeah.
Or this really, really bothers you and you won't watch comic stuff like this.
I bet Grant would hate this.
Probably.
But they had me from minute one because they opened with red skies and the bat signal, and they cut to Robert Wool on a bench.
Yep.
Like, I hope you're watching, big guy. And I'm like, you guys brought back fucking Knox? I am in.
Yes.
And then we get pudgy, over-the-hill Robin giving his great line reading of Holy Red Skies of Death, Batman.
And then we... They clip through so many Earths, and I want to go through and note down what numbers all of them are. I don't know why.
You know what number they are? They're the year they came out.
Really? Is that what they're
Earth
doing?
66.
That's great.
Earth 89, Earth 90.
Because they, over the various ones of these, they cut to Birds of Prey, I think.
That's Earth 90.
They cut to...
Or something like that,
the DC app Titans.
Yeah, the Titans. That was crazy.
They bring in fucking Lucifer.
Okay, that was my favorite bit. It's Earth 666, which is amazing. And they go there, and they've got Constantine. He's losing contact. Basically, with all the multiverse falling apart, he's losing contact with his magic. They need to go find Ollie's soul, which is a whole weird thing.
So they need somebody to help him get to purgatory.
And so they go, and when they open the door, I've never seen him. I've never seen Lucifer. I've seen bits and pieces when my kid was watching it, so I know who he is, and I've seen the ads a billion times. But when he opens the door and he's got like 2 girls and he's telling a story, and I'm like, oh, I laughed. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah,
and
it's so good. He hits on Ollie's daughter.
Yeah, that was really fun, and that was one of the biggest moments for me. And I'm like, oh, that's great. They did not try to forget anything.
So the only thing that they have teed up for me and not then knocked clean across the park so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the story's going to be inherently cheesy. There's going to be some things that don't work.
Sure.
So I'm not looking for them to fix Crisis for me.
Sure.
I'm just looking for them to put Paragon in a put Pariah in a right looking outfit, and
Which
they did that.
Yeah.
So the only thing that they've done that made me go, oh, if you do it, I'm going to squeeze so loud you'll hear it from wherever the fuck DC's located. When they talked about the Paragon of Batman of the Future.
Yeah.
And then we get to a Batmansion with a young kid.
Yeah.
And Kevin Conroy.
You were hoping they would do Batman
in an
Beyond.
exosuit. I wanted it to be Terry so bad.
Me too.
Why was the Paragon of Batman of the Future not Terry?
I know. I'm bummed by that too. And actually, Kevin Conroy thing was interesting because I love that they brought Kevin Conroy to be live action Batman. And I loved hearing Batman's voice come out of a Batman. Like that sounds like Batman.
I got to meet and interview Conroy at Comic-Con this past year.
Yeah.
And I just kept closing my eyes through his scenes and like, you're Batman.
But
dude.
then I'd look at it and it's not Batman. Like Kevin Conroy does not look like any version of Bruce Wayne.
No, he's so thin.
And it's just like, I was like, I'm glad you guys did this, but he doesn't look right.
That's why I really wanted him to be. I wanted him to be honestly in the wheelchair or in a chair with a cane.
The old man
and
Batman.
Old man
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
And I wanted Terry so bad.
Yeah.
Even if they had made it Luke Fox.
Yeah, I don't know if Luke Fox had the Batman Beyond costume.
That was honestly what I was hoping for, and that is not where they go with it.
It is strange to me to take one of the most beloved Batmen and to make him basically a worse Dark Knight Returns version.
Yeah, he's terrible.
He's the bad guy, and I was disappointed in that turn. I thought that was a bad choice.
And they even make Luke too bloodthirsty for me.
Yeah.
When he's like, "No, that's what happens to Superman."
Yeah.
Like,
I did not care for that.
Yeah.
What I do like is that their world's finest in the CW universe going forward and always is two women.
yes,
It's Supergirl and it's Kate, and the two of them have great chemistry.
they really do, and I cannot wait to see a just the two of them crossover.
Yeah, me too. I loved Kate basically holding on to that kryptonite. And I was like, why is she fingering that kryptonite so much? And then I realized she was trying to stop Supergirl from
Using
destroying
the
the multiverse using the book. And I'm like, that makes sense. Okay. And I like that she didn't.
Yeah.
That unlike Batman, she decides to trust her friend.
Yeah, because Kate likes to throw a punch.
Sure.
But yeah, the look and I really like Ruby Rose. I'm liking Ruby
me
Rose
too.
as Kate more and more. But the moment when she looks at her, I'll stop you from using the book, and Supergirl goes, "You can't." And like you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you don't know that I've got a fistful of kryptonite here, and I will knock your jaw off.
Also, Brandon Routh is a great Kingdom Come Superman.
Yes, a great cameo as the tragically lost everybody Superman.
Yeah.
I still love John Cryer getting to make up for Lenny by
John
being
Cryer's
a great Lex.
Such a douchebag Lex.
Tom Welling not recognizing him.
Oh yeah, that
was the
fun.
best moment of like, who
That
are
was
you?
fun.
Lex, the president's here?
Yeah, that was fun. I like that Ollie in this universe, Green Arrow is basically their Batman as well, and so he's the Paragon. He's the thing this is all based around. So he's the guy who has to die.
Which is great. They're going to kill him instead of Supergirl. I hope so. I hope so.
I
but
like the death that they gave him.
Yeah.
I like that basically they make a point of he saved 1 billion lives in that time that he stayed. He saved 1 billion. Like that is a death you give a guy that he's earned.
Yeah.
And I like the way they dealt with this sort of, well, why don't we bring him back? I like what they did there. Is that the first time we've seen Corrigan?
I feel like
it is.
It is. They have touched on in other cartoon iterations. They've touched on the Spectre before, but I think it is.
But
and I applauded in my living room.
If they actually make Ollie the Spectre,
I want Ollie to be the Spectre
so
bad.
I love that. I think that's great. It's like kind of what they did with Hal Jordan for a while.
And the Spectre. The Spectre is a great Deus Ex Machina for DC shit.
Oh, sure.
So like having that floating out there and it being Ollie, occasionally the Spectre is just pants-shittingly terrifying.
Oh my God.
In its scope of power.
You know what I just realized, Les? In issue 11 of Crisis, Spectre fights Anti-Monitor. The Spectre fights the Anti-Monitor to keep the universe.
I bet that's where it's going.
I think that's where they're going.
So we can talk a little bit about Anti-Monitor design. He looks dumb in the comics. He looks like a scroll that got left in a bathtub.
Yeah.
And
he looks dumber here.
So
I don't know. You made it worse.
So Monitor, even though Monitor looks silly in the TV show,
but it's perfect.
I kind of gotta applaud the fucked up hair choice.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yep.
Anti-Monitor, I kind of wanted to see how they'd flip this guy, and they should have given him his helmet.
Yeah, that it doesn't work. And maybe they will. Maybe we'll see him in the helmet.
Yeah, maybe they'll have to put the helmet on. Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. And also I like Pariah looks great. Harbinger looks great. It is weird to me that Lila is the Harbinger because Lila was a fucking Argus agent and all of a sudden she's like this cosmic teleporting person.
So at first I thought that they had not done Harbinger's costume very well and they made her look like a flight attendant.
Yeah.
Then I looked up Harbinger's
That's
costume.
what she looks like.
My God, they really did an exceptional
Yeah.
job of giving that costume real clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
I do think they should have given her the red cowl with the jewel.
I agree.
And had it glow every time instead of her eyes.
I love seeing all the cameos. I love seeing the Birds of Prey. That
surprised
Birds
me.
of Prey show was terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
But
it's you can actually go watch it still. I can't remember what. It's on CW Seed.
As long as everything else.
So bad.
But I liked the nod. I wish they'd gotten Dina Myers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that was her voice. I don't think it was.
Yeah, but I was just so happy that they did any of it.
But they're going through and they're showing us every little bit. I love they brought in Ryan Choi.
Yes.
Like that was super cool.
Yes, very happy that they bring him in. He gets to be the Atom eventually. I hope that because I think Routh wants out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
But I really hope that they continue on some kind of legend or start up something. I think they're doing a Stargirl series.
They just renounced the Stargirl series, yeah.
But Ryan Choi's Atom deals with an Ivy City that, and I can't remember if this was actually a scam or if this was true in the comic, or if it's like Dr. Manhattan's radiation. But Ivy City, because of the Atom manipulating shit with his size stuff, Ivy City now has a crazy number of supernatural things. They're like a hellmouth.
Yeah, and they're full of weird science stuff too. Yeah.
So like all sorts of goofy weirdness happens there, and I want that show where like where he's the superhero of Erie, Indiana, basically.
Yeah. I would love that, and that's the key thing going into this. We've seen the first 3 parts. We don't know what's going to happen in the last 2. We don't know what's going to happen to the CW after this. Like Arrow's done.
Mm-hmm.
There's the strong rumors, or at least the development of a Superman and Lois show, which I'm all for. Tyler Hoechlin and whoever's playing Lois, whose name I don't remember.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great together. I love them. There's the Birds of Prey launch they're going to do. It's just a weird one with Mia and Sarah. Not Mia and Sarah. Mia Dearden and Laura Lance and somebody else.
And that's going to be fun. Stargirl's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I really want Ryan Choi Atom
Yeah.
or move Legends into that.
Well, and I'd be curious to see what The Flash looks like after this, because The Flash has been so much about alternate worlds and time travel, and now all that's going to be gone.
Yeah, but phasing out Vibe.
Yeah.
Because he's out.
Yeah.
It's. I want to see where they shake it up to. My hard rules are that you cannot kill off Ralph Dibny. I love Hartley Sawyer and want him on the show forever. But yeah, my only irritation with this is that they aren't going to show me the last 2 until after Christmas.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
And I feel like it is some kind of cliffhanger them so that they keep watching. You fucking got me, guys.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah. This should have been a 5-night event.
Yes.
You had 5 nights.
I'd have watched every single night of it. I'd have skipped everything else on television.
Yeah, same. This would have been what I did this week. And now I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it when it comes back.
Oh, they still got me.
But I'm annoyed because it's coming back right by the time Good Place is. And my enthusiasm is going to be for Good Place, not for the Crisis finale.
This is where they double got me. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch these first 3 before watching the last 2.
But I like this. And it reminds me, every time I watch these crossovers, it reminds me, the CW stuff is good. If I didn't have 18 hours of television to watch every week, I would probably keep up with it. But I do, and it's not quite that good.
Yeah, though I am trying to remember now who it is that they drag into the room that is just super freak out excited, and they're like, "Oh, it's his first crossover, chill."
Yeah.
Oh, it's Hartley. So yeah, it's elongated man.
Elongated man. Yeah. Yeah. See the one who's like, "Oh, Superman's a thing."
Yeah. Oh, this is great. There's 2 Supermen. This is awesome. Also the Brandon Routh's line of it's not actually the first time I've gone crazy and fought myself.
That was fantastic. I am hoping that when all is said and done, and I'm not know if they're going to do this, but if they're going to not recreate the multiverse, if they're going to do the same Crisis they was one universe, which I don't know if they are.
I think they're going to build the recreated multiverse.
I think they're
just going to finish that out.
And I don't know if that's the right idea or not, but I would really like it if Black Lightning and Supergirl and everybody were all on the same Earth.
Yeah.
I'm
wondering what they're going to do. I'm hoping that they reestablish it to a set 52.
Yeah.
And go that route.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious to see what the ending is, because that's really unknown.
Well, for that ending, we'll have to wait until years from now, whenever the fuck CW decides to show it to us. If you want to go watch a show wrap up spectacularly well right now, you can obviously check out You're the Worst or any number of things that have ended in this past year.
Yep.
But Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
I loved how this wrapped up. I didn't know what they were going to do.
Yep.
When it kicked off the episode with jumping 10 years forward, my heart sank a little bit of like, oh, this often diffuses it and means that the last episode isn't really a last episode. The last episode is like a rap party where you just tell me about strings you're rapping or
It's
tying
funny.
up.
I love that kind of thing, so I was all about it. I'm like, oh, good, we're gonna get a sort of a clip show of what happened in the last 10 years.
So I was really happy when they jumped back.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, good. Show me what happened. Don't just tell me.
Yeah, and they did. And if you had told me that the when they first started this whole thing about Richard starting his tech company, and all that the end of this was going to be these guys preventing the end of the world because they don't have the singularity to be created, I would never have seen that coming.
No, it's hysterical. I mean, because, God, what are they actually even trying to friggin' do at the start with Pied Piper?
They're just trying to, I don't even know at the beginning.
It's long before its compression algorithms.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Yeah. At this point, they're trying to launch a fast internet.
But they've let their AI optimize itself and vice versa and do this loop.
And by giving it access to the internet, they're going to destroy the world. And they discover this. Guilfoyle discovers it.
No, Richard discovers it.
But
Guilfoyle has separately confirmed it. Yeah.
And he comes
because no one believes Richard because he's been awake for 3 days and it's only because his ellipse
Richard
auto-corrected it.
And Richard is such a sabotage guy that they assume he's just trying to sabotage his own success.
Yeah. And it's not until Guilfoyle walks in.
Guilfoyle walks in with a
lock
bag
the
and
doors.
What's in the bag? 17 Cliff Bars and a gun.
Lock the doors.
Yeah, and it basically their AI, if they give it access to this new internet, it will destroy the world.
Not because it's just trying to make a faster internet, and encryption slows that down. So it keeps cracking encryptions, and within a day or so, just on what it's found on their network, it cracks a couple of encryptions that are the first thing it cracks is weak.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, it's not that big a deal, and blah blah blah. But then it cracks whatever. Google, it cracks something really big.
Yeah. And then Guilfoyle uses it to crack Tesla.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, that's what it is that's huge. Guilfoyle lets it run, and in like 2 hours, it cracks Dinesh's Tesla and drives it off.
Which is the strongest encryption on the planet.
Yes.
And
that's when they're like, oh, fuck, if we let this go. Yeah. I can't believe that this is how – and it's not something that they just whipped out at the end for this episode. Like everything else in Silicon Valley, when they bring it up, it catches me off guard and seems inevitable. Yeah. When Russ's hologram jumps to like 3 stories tall or ever how big it is, and he gets the text to the AT&T guy of like, we need to talk, it felt out of the blue and inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah.
The show's twists are always this good, and it ends on one that works just as well. The final last moment cliffhanger of Richard having done something sort of dumb that he can't really talk about and is just flustered. The credits rolled and I died.
By the way, Big Head.
Oh my God.
That Big Head.
I work with a lot of people with dementia, and it doesn't have to be a hell.
I love that Big Head's. Somebody Mariah called this when we were talking about this. The Big Head was going to have a big role, but we did not see this. It's almost beyond the pale for me. It's almost a bit too silly that this guy who has never been good at anything is suddenly the president of Stanford.
It's just a money donation thing.
But I'm like, yeah, okay. And
I'm head of Stanford.
I love when he's in the kitchen of the old house and she's like, Professor Spaghetti? And he says, I go to Stanford. He's like, hey, I work at Stanford. He's like, I know, you're the president.
Yeah. Like, so what are y'all here for?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, when they're talking to him, Big Head had some of my favorite moments. When they're talking to him, they're like, why do you think they call you Big Head? He's like, oh, boys being boys, making fun of my big old dome. You don't think it's because your last name's Spaghetti?
You see him get it for the first time. Yeah. Yeah, he looks away for a second. You see him like, no. Yeah, Big Head is just spectacular. He lost the house to Jin Yang in a game of Guess the Number.
Yeah, in a game of Guess the Number. He's like,
I guess 7, it was 3, live and learn.
Yeah, you live and learn.
Yeah, Big Head is amazing. Like that his dad is not still running his finances is just astonishing.
And speaking of Jin Yang's finale is, of course, perfect.
Yes.
And
Eric, I suppose we should call him
Eric Bachman.
And that he's just curtsying out in a like a hovel somewhere. Like
I was so happy it was him and not TJ Miller. I was so mad. I was going to be so mad if it was TJ Miller.
No, I want Jimmy O Yang to succeed, and I don't give a fuck about TJ Miller.
I love that Guilfoyle and Dinesh are together forever.
Yes, they will always work together.
Yes.
They hate each other. But they're the only 2 programmers that the other one likes at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It clicked when they were hiring when they hired their stallions.
Yeah,
each better than the last. That they hate everyone but each other. I mean, they hate each other, but they really hate everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's perfect. It's a nice blend of, we get a great story of them sabotaging their launch for the good of mankind. and then those cutaways to how this works out in the future for them. I think it was a perfect ending.
Time to reboot it with Finn Wolfhard as Richard. And
all right, so if you like what you're hearing, you can always go help us out by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes and throw us a buck an episode. We appreciate it. Keeps all these streaming services running for us. And until next time,
TV Dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @tvdudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.